Very good evening to all of you. How are you? So again, same request. Whenever you are doing the chat with me, please select everyone name so that your question, your query would be visible to all. मेरा सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप लोग जब चैट करेंगे तो यू विल सेलेक्ट एवरीवन नेम. Let me start the topic. Today we have the three topic. Today we have to cover three topic. The first topic would be payment of taxes, then TDS less TCS, then return. Astha, I request that please select everyone name Gulika and Mr. Money also. Achha, option is not yet available. Let me made available. I think now it would be available. Please check. So now ready for question. You need to give the reply in the same manner as you have did in the past. Fine, Gulika. Thank you. Abhi, first we will start the topic payment of taxes. The question is Mr. A deposited the sum of 30,000 under minor head of interest column for the major head IGST. He has deposited 30,000 rupees under minor head of interest in the major head of IGST. At the time of filing the GSTR 3B for a particular tax period, he noticed that no sufficient amount under minor head of the tax toward the payment of 30,000. When he approached with the consultant, A was guided to deposit the tax under the proper head and claim the refund of the amount which is deposited earlier under interest. Is it correct or not correct? If it is not correct, then give me the reason. What is the other solution available? He has deposited the amount in the interest column, but he required in the tax. What would be the solution available to him? Is it correct? He has to deposit 30,000 again and then take the refund of this wrong taxes paid? Or is there any other option available in this case? No idea. I am waiting for the reply of everyone. What will happen? We all know that in this case, oh, is it? He can shift the amount. He can shift the amount as per your understanding. He can shift the amount. I'm requesting everyone to give the reply. Everyone, please give the reply. Other participants, can he adjust or he has to pay only? He has to pay the amount or he can adjust. The answer is he can adjust. He can adjust the amount. He can adjust the amount through PMT09. Through PMT09. He can transfer from any minor head to major head. Yes, he can adjust or he can transfer the amount from any one minor head to any major head. Therefore, in this case, he simply need to shift from interest to tax under the same head and he can discharge the liability. I have two questions. Can he transfer the cash to the other GST number of the same PAN? can he transfer this cash amount to the other GST number of the same PAN? Very important question. Can he transfer the amount which is lying in the cash ledger to the other GST number of the same PAN? Okay. The two participants are saying yes. What about others? Two participants are saying yes. What about others? Great, Asta, very nice. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. No problem. Third question, I have the couple of questions. Kindly give the answer. Next question, whether the cross utilization is possible transferring from one head to the another head. Is it possible under ITC also? Assume that I have the ITC under IGST. Can this amount be transferred to the CGST? Can this amount be transferred to the IGST? Listen my question carefully. Once again, let me repeat. My question was that you have the ITC in IGST. Can you transfer this ITC to the CGST or SGST? You have the IGST under SGST. Can you transfer this to IGST? Like you are transferring the cash from one head to minor head. I am talking about like PMT09. We are allowed to do the transfer of the cash from one head to the another head. Similarly, can we transfer the ITC also from one head to the another head by using similar type of the forms? The answer is no. You cannot transfer. Okay. Is it possible to transfer the ITC from one GSTIN number to the another GSTIN number of the same PAN? Distinct person. Can we transfer the ITC of one head to the another head or same head to another GST number of the same PAN? ITC, I'm talking about input tax credit. Can we do the transfer of input tax credit from one head to the same head but another GST number of the same PAN? Can we do? Answer is no. बेटा याद रखिएगा, ट्रांसफर सिर्फ कैश का ही है. नो ट्रांसफर ऑफ ITC. No transfer of ITC neither within the GST number nor distinct person, means another GST number. Then we can only do the cross utilization. We can only do the cross utilization while discharging the liability. Means we have the liability under I. While making the payment, we can use the ITC of I, we can use the ITC of CGST or SGST. There would be some certain condition. This is cross utilization. That is different thing. But my earlier question was transfer from one head to the another head like cash. So what is the conclusion? Please give me the answer once again. Can we transfer the cash from one major head to the another major head within the GST number? Can we transfer quickly? Yes or no? Quickly say yes or no. Can we do that transfer from one GST number, one major head to the another major head or minor head of the cash? Answer is yes. Can we do the transfer of ITC from one major head to the another major head in the same GST number? Answer is no. Absolutely correct, beta. Third question, can we transfer the cash from one GST number to the another GST number of the same PAN? Answer is yes, we can. Gulika, we can. We can. Okay. So the only restriction is there that SGST you can't do the transfer. SGST you cannot do the transfer. Okay. You can't do the transfer of SGST. Absolutely correct. And similarly, you cannot do the transfer of, like, if you have the amount in the liability register, etc. Last question. In the from one GST number to the another GST number, can we transfer the ITC from one head to the same head? Can we transfer the ITC in the same head of one GST number to the another GST number? Answer would be absolutely correct, beta. Answer would be no. Answer would be no. Now let's move to the next question. Very nice. Very nice, beta. Let me move to the question number 2. ABC and company just give me 1 minute. I hope it is visible, right? Is it visible, right? Increase karna cha raha hu, but it's not. I hope it is visible. Screen is visible properly. ठीक है. So now my second question is, ABC and company have defaulted in filing the return under section 39. That is GSTR 3B for the month of the March. Okay. Reason for such delay is attributable to the closure of the books. Now, there is a late fees payable under section 47 for a sum of rupees 2000 under CGST and SGST each. Okay. Accountant of Messrs ABC and Company sought your confirmation for payment of such late fees toward the balance available in the credit ledger. Give your guidance. Can we use the amount available under IGST, under ITC? What is your view? Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So, whatever you are giving the answer, the ITC cannot be utilized toward the payment of late fees. Absolutely correct. Can you quickly tell me for which head or which liability I cannot use ITC? I am not asking the rules for cross utilization of ITC of one head to the another head. No, I'm talking about the liability which has to be discharged in cash. We can't use ITC. Please quickly tell me what are the situations, what are the liability that has always to be discharged in cash. No utilization of ITC for those liability ka payment. Absolutely correct. Interest, late fees, penalty. Okay, interest. Then Tanu is saying penalty. Absolutely correct, beta. And Asta is saying interest, fees, penalty. Mr. Manav is saying Mr. Mani is saying interest, fine, okay, great. Farhan, tax, interest, penalty, or any other amount. Absolutely correct. Yes, I was looking this. Miss Pooja has given the answer. In addition to that, we cannot pay the RCM ka liability in cash. One thing is left. Can you tell me what is that? Things. Only one thing is left, probably. One thing is left. Any other things is left? No problem. Almost you have covered. Yes. This liability has to be discharged in only cash, and we can't use ITC. Tell me one thing, whether 9 subsection 5 is in your syllabus? 9 subsection 5 is in your syllabus? Nine subsection 5 is in your syllabus. Can you give me what is the 9.5? Can you give me any one example for the 9.5? 9.5. Tanu, I'm not talking about RCM. RCM we have already discussed. In which tax is paid by. Okay, you mean to say, Tanu, you are saying something in relation to 9.5 issue? Yes. In whenever you will read the final, do the practical return filing process. In practical life, if you are having the exposure to the 9.5, then you will be able to understand liability of the 9.5. Liability of the 9.5 is also to be discharged in cash. Okay. Now the next question, third. Suhasini, a registered software consultant, could not provide any service during the month of October. However, she had to incur all the expenses relating to her office. She paid 75,000 to the various vendor. Out of the total bill paid by her, she had to incur all the expenditure relating to her office. She paid 75,000 to the various vendor. Total amount of the ITC procured by her is 13,500. Out of the total bill paid by her, one bill for 15,000 relate to the security service availed for the security of her office, tax on which payable under RCM. Input tax involved on such bill is 2,700. Sorry. Swasini is of the opinion that for the month of October, no GST is payable. No GST is payable from cash as a sufficient balance of ITC even for discharging the RCM on security services. Do you think it is right? Explain the reason, assuming the provision of 86B are not applicable. Tell me, very simple question. We have already discussed. Because it is RCM that has to be paid. Because it is RCM, so therefore it has to be paid. It has to be paid always in the cash. Second question, whether he can take the ITC of that RCM in the same month, or he should take the ITC in that, or she should take the ITC in the next month. she should take the ITC in the next month, or she would be available to take the ITC in the same month. After making the payment in the same 3B, can he add the ITC amount also? Same month. Answer is correct, same month. Now, the question related to this point only. What is 86B? What is 86B? So it told that yes, the no 86B is applicable in this case. What about 86B? What about 86B? My question is, what about 86B in? Can you give me some idea about 86B? Tanu is saying 99% from ITC and 1% from cash. Okay. Okay. Any other answer? Almas is saying, if the turnover is more than 50 lakh, 1% of the tax liability must be paid in cash. Very nice. Very nice. What about others? My humble request, please always participate in the discussion. Is there any exception to this rule 86B? Is there any exception to this rule 86B? If yes, give me one or two exception, or the situation in which the 86B will not be applicable even if my turnover is more than 50 lakhs. Even if my turnover is more than 50 lakh, but 86B will not be applicable, give me the reason, give me the situation. Okay. Okay. 50 lakhs is perfectly okay, no problem. Tell me the situation when 86B will not be applicable. Any one or two exception, quickly. Fine. If income tax is paid more than 1 lakh for 2 consecutive years, if 1% is already paid in cash, if it is a government like central government, PSU, etc., then not applicable. If he has taken the refund, then also it is not applicable. Absolutely correct. Now let's move to the next question. ABC filed the GSTR 3B for the month of July within the due date prescribed. Post filing the return, registered person has noticed during the September 24 that tax due for the month of the July has not been paid. ABC has paid the above tax of 40,000 through 3B of September. Now for the payment of the 40, he has used the cash ledger 30 and credit ledger 10,000. Tell me, what would be the amount on which interest is applicable? किस amount पर interest लगेगा और how many days interest would be applicable? Tell me. Question is not clear. My question is the payment of the 40,000 in the month of the September GSTR for the month of the September GSTR 3B, will the interest be applicable on 40, 30, 10? Tell me, interest would be applicable on 40,000, 30,000 or 10,000? So you almost all are saying 30,000. Okay. Okay. Pooja is saying entire 40,000. Okay. Almas is saying 30,000. Okay. 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 What is the reason? What is the reason, Pooja? I'm asking to you only because all has given the 30,000. Acha, Mohammad Farhan is saying also that 40,000 because return was filed on time. So then in that case, no interest should be applicable. Farhan, no interest should be applicable in this case. Okay, payment was not made. Oh, okay. Pooja, what is your reason? Farhan, clear hai? What is your reason? It is clear to me, Farhan. Now I'm asking to Pooja, what is the reason? Okay. So again, I'm giving back to you all the participants. You tell me whether the reply of the Pooja and Farhan, would you like to change your answer? You all have given the answer 30,000. Would you like to change back to the 40 or still you would like to remain at 30? Then we will discuss important point. We are going to discuss one important point. Okay, Tanu is saying 40. Okay. Tanu, what was the reason for changing your view and what about the other participant not want to change? Asta is not want to change. Absolutely. Okay. No problem. I do not have any problem. We'll discuss and then find out who one is correct. What is the correct answer? It is important thing. And I will open the study material as well. Someone has asked one question in the last class regarding this 86B only. किसी पार्टिसिपेंट ने क्वेश्चन पूछा था 86B के रिगार्ड में, will we add the liability in the same month or not, will we add the liability of the current month or not? किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा था. Anyone is here जिन्होंने भी क्वेश्चन पूछा था? Just I like to ask. Okay, आस्था आपने पूछा था. Great. तो बेटा मेरा यही कहना है. So I like to only answer your question. Let me answer the question of Asta after this question. आस्था पहले एक क्वेश्चन कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं, देन आई विल डिस्कस योर क्वेश्चन. ठीक है. तो इस क्वेश्चन में क्या है? इस क्वेश्चन में है, you probably have read the rule 88B wherein they've used the word same tax period. Same tax period. What does this mean? It means if you paid the liability for the same tax period, then section 50 subsection 1 read with the rule 88B says you need to pay the interest only on the cash portion. ठीक है. If you are paying the liability in the different tax period, then you have to pay the liability in the gross amount. In this example, the liability which was not paid pertain to which month? एक बार मुझे आंसर दीजिए. The liability pertain to which month which was not paid in time? The answer is July. July 24 has not been paid. Absolutely correct, beta. Tell me the second point, whether it was paid in the same GSTR 3B of the July or it was other than July. ये लाइबिलिटी सेम टैक्स पीरियड के जीएसटीआर 3B में पे किया गया है या लेट 3B में पे किया है, whether it was July or other than July. You all are saying other than July. Okay, other than July. It means it is not paid in the same tax period. It is not being paid in the same tax period. Do you agree with this? This liability was not being discharged through same tax period GST return. Therefore, because it was different and the interest would be applicable on entire 40,000. Interest would be applicable on the entire 40,000. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? And let me try to open the study material also. Try to open the study material also. And then I will explain this point. एक बार मुझे दीजिए, just allow me only 1 minute. Let me open the study material as well. This is your study material, wherein I'm talking about this page, Rule 88B, and I'm just highlighting certain important words. This is very important word. This is the only reason why the interest is on the gross amount. Let's read together. In case where the supply is made during a tax period, so my answer is July, are declared by the registered person in the return for the said tax period. Said period. कौन से रिटर्न की बात करता है? जुलाई की बात करता है. And the return was furnished after the due date. Means July का GSTR 3B has been filed after the due date. Then the interest will be calculated on the portion of the tax which is debited by the cash leaser. अगर आपकी जुलाई की लाइबिलिटी थी, जुलाई के रिटर्न्स में ऐड किया एंड वो रिटर्न आपने ड्यू डेट के बाद भरा है, यू फर्निश दैट रिटर्न आफ्टर द ड्यू डेट, इन दैट केस interest would be applicable not on gross amount, it would be applicable on the net amount after minusing or after reducing the ITC. Is it clear? I hope now it is crystal clear. एक बार confirm करें everyone. What would be your answer if 3B for July 24 has been filed belated on 20th of October 2024? Same, there is a self-tax of 20th of October, payment through cash is 10,000, so the 40 out of 40, 10 will be the cash and 30 will be the ITC. In this case, interest would be applicable on 40, 10 or 30. In the second example, can you please confirm first in the second example, not second part of this example, same example, Can you please confirm? In this case, interest would be applicable in the gross or net. Interest would be applicable on net. So net is 10,000 or 30,000? Net is 10,000 or 30,000? अरे ठीक, जितना पोर्शन कैश से पे किया, जितना पोर्शन कैश से पे किया, जितना पोर्शन कैश से पे किया उस पे इंटरेस्ट लगेगा, जितना पोर्शन आईटीसी से पे किया इंटरेस्ट नहीं लगेगा. You all have calculated the number of days. You all have calculated the number of the days, right? It was how many days it was? कितना दिन आया था? Number of days. I have seen that number of days you have calculated. 61. And have you ignored the leap year? Have you ignored the leap year, right? Ignore effect of the leap year, ignore. Correct. So क्या था एक बार देख लेते हैं. The liability of the July has to be discharged on 20th of August, not paid. So 21st August to 20th of October. So how many days? This October का 20 days, September का 30 days, and August का 11 days. Why 11 days? 21st August to 31st August. So the total is 61 days. No problem. In this example, no problem. In this example, the leap year does not come. So fine. Leap year तो आया ही नहीं, तो ठीक है. Now let me give you the one practical problem on offset, utilization of one head to the another head, the ITC amount. Let me open the Excel sheet and ask you one or two problems. Assume that I have the ITC. Under IGST, let's say 70,000. Under CGST 30,000. Under SGST 30,000. I have the liability under IGST, let's say 20,000. I have the liability under IGST say 30,000. ठीक है. Under CGST 60 और 40, 50,000, and under SGST it is 50,000. You all have to tell me that which head I will pay the liability in the cash. Do I need to pay the IGST liability in cash, C in cash, or S in cash? Second question, what is the closing balance of input tax credit of each head? Question number 1 and question number 2. Kindly solve the question, giving you 2-3 minutes. You take 2-3 minutes and then give the answer. This is my liability under each head. This is my ITC under each head. You have to do the cross utilization, no issue, but you have to give me the answer of the two questions. Key, do I need to pay the liability in cash? If yes, under which head? Second question, do I need to pay What is the closing balance of input tax credit after all the payment? Giving you 2 to 3 minutes and then we'll discuss. Meanwhile, I request everyone to give the answer in the chat. Uh, Ashokji, IT team, just allow me 1 minute. I'm joining back. So probably I will be logged out and then log in again. The pen is not working on my screen, so I will join back. ठीक. Haha. So can you please confirm now what is the correct, what is your answer? Sorry, Meanwhile, I have log out and then log in again. So probably you all have given the answer. I request everyone, please give once again all the answer, whatever you have given. So what was the liability? Under IGST, it was 30,000, right? Under CGST, it was 50,000, and under SGST, it was 50,000. What is the ITC? Under IGST, it was how much? 70,000. Under CGST, it was 30,000, and similarly SGST, it was 30,000. Okay. This was my question, and now please give me what is the liability which I have to pay in cash, and which is the liability, or what is my closing balance of ITC. Okay, no liability in cash. Okay, Pooja is saying 10,000 required to be paid in cash. No ITC available. Okay. Okay, Sunil is saying 10 हमें पे करना पड़ेगा. Absolutely okay. Let's see. Fine. Now you all help me that where I should put the amount first. आप मुझे बता दीजिए where I have to write the amount first. I given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've given the column number or cell number for each cell. Tell me where I have to write and how much amount. Okay, nice. So you are saying 30,000 I have to write here. All doing the same answer. What about second? Okay, okay, fine, fine, fine. You all have to tell me the rule. You all have to tell me the rule. I'm asking the question. Just give me a minute. Can I put the amount 30,000 here in the serial number in the column number 5? If your answer is no, give me the rule or reference, or just give me the reason why I cannot amount second in the 30,000 column which is being highlighted. My question is very simple. मैं 30,000 rupees यूज करना चाहता हूं. सेकंड जो अमाउंट मैं लिखना चाहता हूं, I like to put the second amount in the 5. Is it allowed or not? If not, give me the reason. What is the rule? What is the law? The law says, okay, I have received the answer from Almas, Farhan, Gulika. Allowed, but if you pay 30, then you have to pay in cash also. Okay. Okay. Can I do so? It is allowed, no problem, but it is not allowed as per the law. Why? Why? Because you have the IGST 40,000. And what is the rule? What is the rule? You can take C from C. You can discharge the CGST liability by using the ITC of CGST. No problem. But what is the rule? This IGST should be fully exhausted. It should be nil. Then only I can use. So I cannot use 30,000. Is this clear to all? Is this clear to all? ये वाला पॉइंट क्लियर है सभी को? Is this point clear to all? Any doubt, kindly ask, because some of the participants are saying different answer. Yes, fully utilize the ITC of IGST, then you can use. See, Sika ITC can be used toward the Sika liability. Obviously, yes, no problem. But it says, if you read the section 49A and read with rule 88A, this condition is being added by these provisions. Okay. Now let's move further. Let's move further. Can I give this 40,000? Just I'm asking the question. I'm just adding the permutation combination for all of you. Can I add 40,000 here? Just I'm asking. Can I add the 40,000 here by which I just become nil? Nil. Can I add 40,000 here? Yes or no? As per the law, can I give the IGST balance to CGST? Fine. Tell me, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Yes, I can do. But if I will do this, if I will do this or this, if I will do this or this, then the problem is, it will not be beneficial for taxpayer. Fully agree with you. Tell me one thing, friend. Tell me one thing, friend. Can I do can I do in this manner also? Just asking. Can I do in this manner also? Can I do in this manner also? No problem. No problem in any manner, any order, and any proportion. 3 words I have used. Any order, any manner, any proportion, I can do so. No problem. So what happened? You can do, but what is the problem? It should be not beneficial in the taxpayer. What is the beneficial? In this example, 2020. Then 30,000. Then can CGST ITC will be given to S? Can this ITC is being allowed? Can C give to S? Can C give to S or can S give to C? The answer is no. Answer is no. So I have grayed out. CGST will give 30,000 and this would be. So what is the amount will be paid in cash? No. Not any liability to be discharged in cash. And is there any closing balance of ITC? Closing balance of ITC would also be nil. Is it crystal clear to all? Is it crystal clear to all? एक बार quickly confirm करो. I will do one more case study on this offsetting and then we'll move to the next chapter. Clear, na? Thank you. Thank you, beta. Now, let me put the let me ask. Just allow me 1 minute. Just allow me 1 minute. I'm just making the question. I'm just making the question. Just allow me 1 minute. I'm making the question. This time, GST has 50,000, SGST has 50,000, and it has nil balance. Okay. It has nil balance. Ha. Ha. Now tell me where I should write the first. Where I should write the first. Question is clear to all, correct? This is my liability under each head, and this is my ITC under each head. Tell me where I will write first amount and how much. Okay, you all are saying 50,000 here and okay, 15, 15, 1. But Gulika, I के पास तो कुछ भी नहीं है ना. I does not have any amount, correct? So here there will be nothing. Here there will be nothing, right? There will be no amount under IGST, so it cannot be possible. There is nil. Now the 50,000, where I should write? Okay, where I should write? Most of the participants are saying 50,000. Money you are saying 15, 15. Why 15, 15? So you all are saying this. You all are saying this. No problem, beta. You all are saying this. Okay. And next amount where I should write? Next amount where I should write? In the 9. This is also the 50,000. Which liability to be paid in cash? The 30,000 का IGST का liability to be paid in cash. 30,000 का liability. $30,000 to be paid in cash. Now my question. Listen my question carefully. If the CGST want, can he do in this manner? क्या CGST इस मैनर में पे कर सकता है? Can he do so? So as of now, the limitation as per understanding, yes, it is not allowed. Just read the law once again and then come back in the next class. If you have the different answer, along with reason, tell me. Along with reason, tell me. So what is the current way? The way would be 50,000 here, 50,000 here, and the liability to be discharged in 30,000. So by this, let me complete the first chapter is anything which you feel that I need to discuss in the payment of tax chapter? कोई भी point, if you have any doubt, let me discuss. Any doubt on any provision on the payment of taxes chapter, please confirm. We'll discuss that also. नहीं चलेगा. So let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we will start at new chapter. अशोक जी 10 मिनट का ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर दीजिए. वी विल स्टार्ट. ठीक है. payment of taxes, then we'll move to the next chapter. And sorry, I missed that reply to that question. I think Asta, you have asked the question na in the last class. एक बार वापस confirm करना बेटा. You only have asked the question last yes ना. तो आपका question जो भी था बेटा. So what is the provision? So the rule 86B, we will pay 99% through cash. We can pay maximum 99% through ITC and 1% has to be discharged in cash, correct? And there are multiple proviso wherein this provision will not be applicable, out of which one proviso would be there. One proviso would be, one proviso is there. What is that proviso? Ki if you've already paid 1%, then there is no then 86B is not applicable. Sabhi ko yaad hai na? Do you all remember? So question asked by Asta that will we include the current month also or not? Let's say we are sitting in the month of August and we are filing the GSTR 3B for July month. And in the month of April, May and June, I'm saying, let's say the total liability was 10 lakh rupees. Total sale was 10 lakh rupees. Total sale was 10 lakh rupees of all the 3 months, on which the tax liability was, let's say 50,000. Assume the sale was 10 lakh rupees for April, May and June. The sale was 10 lakh and the total liability on that sale is 10,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, and entire 50,000 I have paid through cash only because I do not have any ITC. In the month of the July, I have the sale of rupees, let's say 60 lakh, of which tax liability is 3 lakhs. Question comes, do I mandatorily on Nidhi, ये question 86B के ऊपर है. This question is on 86B. There was a doubt by Asta, which I am discussing right now. मेरा जुलाई मंथ का लाइबिलिटी 60 सेल 60 and I have the total liability 3 lakh. My question is, do I need to pay 1% in cash or I should say that आपने already pay कर दिया 1% till June, so 86B is not applicable on July. Nidhi, whether I have taken the correct example to cover your question? Whether this example is correct to cover your question? Is it covering your question, your doubt which you have asked in the last class? Fine. अब मैं एक बार वापस एक्सप्लेन करता हूं. जुलाई मंथ में आपकी लाइबिलिटी सेल आपकी 50 लाख से ज्यादा है, by which the total tax comes, whatever tax comes to, can I say that अगर मैंने ऑलरेडी 1% कैश में पे कर दिया है तो नेक्स्ट मंथ इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल, और टू कैलकुलेट द 1% लाइबिलिटी मुझे ये जुलाई मंथ भी ऐड करना पड़ेगा. ये 50,000 कैश ज्यादा हो गया, ये 50,000 कैश ज्यादा हो गया. एज्यूम दैट यू हैव टेकन 49,000 थ्रू आईटीसी एंड 1,000 थ्रू कैश. बेटर रहेगा. इट इज 1% ना, 50 लाख का 50 लाख 50,000 का 1%. ठीक. माई पॉइंट इज स्टिल नॉट क्लियर टू ऑल. मैं एक बार वापस रिपीट करता हूं. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये 86B की कैलकुलेशन जो ये कहता है 1% लाइबिलिटी पेड इन कैश क्यूमुलेटिवली, उस कैलकुलेशन में क्या करंट मंथ ऐड करोगे या सिर्फ लास्ट मंथ तक देखना है आपको? आंसर इज यू विल ऐड करंट मंथ. आंसर इज यू विल ऐड करंट मंथ. मतलब कितना लाइबिलिटी हो गया? 3,50,000 का लाइबिलिटी हो गया. द टोटल लाइबिलिटी वाज 3,50,000. इसका 1% कितना आया? 3500. Whether you paid 3500? No, you have not paid. Then you have to pay 1% in cash in this month. Is it clear? Is it clear? हाँ तनु, 50 लाख सिर्फ इसी मंथ में हुआ है. मुझे 1% कैश में पे करना है. उसके लिए एक डाउट था. जो 1% लाइबिलिटी पेड इन कैश ऑलरेडी, तो यहां पे ऐसा प्राइमा फेसी लग रहा है कि प्रीवियस मंथ में वो 1% लाइबिलिटी पे कर चुका है. तो क्या ये प्रोवाइजो एप्लीकेबल होगा 86B का या नहीं? दैट वाज द क्वेश्चन. ओके, so is it clear, or shall I repeat once again? Shall I repeat once again, or is it clear? एक बार सभी लोग कंफर्म करें. Let me open that particular provision also on which I am doing the discussion. So it was already discussed. It was the provision of ITC chapter, rather I should say. So corrigendum has been issued. Asta corrigendum has been issued. It has been issued. Corrigendum has been issued by the ICAI, by our institute. After looking your queries only, then we have find out this point, which whatever you have read, whatever you have raised, and then the corresponding correction has been issued. Is it okay? Fine, beta. Thank you for pointing out this. एक बात हमेशा ध्यान रखना, दिस इज माय पर्सनल थॉट. दिस इज माय पर्सनल थॉट. इट इज नॉट बाउंडेड और इट इज नॉट बीइंग गिवन बाय एनीबॉडी. ये मेरा सिर्फ पर्सनल थॉट है बेटा, कि अगर कहीं कोई कंसर्न लगता है ना, तो प्लीज हाईलाइट दैट कंसर्न इंस्टेड ऑफ just marketing that concern. You all are educated, doing the good education. You have understood this point कि अगर कहीं प्रॉब्लम है किसी भी पॉइंट में, प्लीज डिस्कस विद द फैकल्टी, विद द ICAI, विद द our indirect tax. We have one separate email ID of IDT also. तो आज तक जैसे आपका पॉइंट है, ऐसा कहीं भी डाउट है ना, तो प्लीज हाईलाइट टू द रेस्पेक्टिव फैकल्टीज or the respective email ID. We will definitely see in detail and then get back to you. Sir, we have to see the 50 lakh criteria per month or only once? Per month. Per month. You have to see the 50 lakh criteria in every month in which the turnover exceeds 50 lakhs. Sir, in OEM services, supplier has dispatched the goods on 29th April and delivered on 25th May. The month in which it has been received the goods. See, the TC ka condition 16.2, it talks about when it has been reached to my, where I have received the goods or services. Okay. As per your example, it appears that I have received the goods on 25th May. Therefore, eligibility would arise on 25th May, and I can take the ITC in the May GSTR 3B. Okay. Some clarification. Okay. Which clarification you're talking about? Not clear. Which clarification you're talking about? Not clear. Just give me any information if you have. Give me. I will discuss. Okay. Okay, beta. Fine. फाइन, विल डिस्कस दैट. एक बार स्टैच्यूटरी अपडेट्स आप पढ़ लीजिएगा. इफ यू हैव रिसीव्ड दैट स्टैच्यूटरी अपडेट्स, then we'll discuss. Fine, no problem. I will also see and get back to you in any further class. और आज अगर टाइम परमिट किया तो आई विल सी द टुडे ओनली. ठीक है. Now let's move further. Let me move to the very small chapter that state whether the provision, this question is left, we'll discuss this. Tell me whether the provision pertaining to the TCS under section 52 would be applicable if this supplier sells its own goods through its own website. So I got your point. Very simple, correct? It's on website. No, sir. Okay. So हाँ तनु, आज लास्ट लेक्चर है तो मैं मतलब आप उस डाउट की बात कर रहे हैं, राइट, जो आस्था ने पूछा है. यू आर आस्किंग द डाउट फॉर विच आस्था इज आस्क्ड. तो लास्ट 15 मिनट हम स्टैच्यूटरी अपडेट्स में ये वाले पॉइंट का क्लैरिफिकेशन पूरा रीड कर लेंगे. बिकॉज सी probably there was a clarification. I think if I'm not wrong, there was a circular 240 या 240 something 240 series का circular था. ठीक है. There was a circular 241 or something like that, or 240, wherein they have clarified this particular matter, X factory X works contract. Probably she is talking about that only. ठीक है. So we'll open that. See, prima facie I can say you have to receive the goods, then only we can take the ITC. But a specific scenario has been covered in that circular, which we will discuss in the last 10-15 minutes. Is that okay? Tanu and Asta both. ठीक है. ठीक है. So let's second, there is an onus of filing of any monthly return, annual return by ECO. Examine the technical veracity of the statement by explaining the relevant provision. So can you tell me which return will be filed by the, and by this I will move to the return chapter. By this I will move to the return chapter. By this I will move to the return chapter. ठीक है. So Asta is saying GSTR it has still to be filed. नहीं. GSTR 8 still to be filed even if sales. No. Some of the point let me discuss, and that is somehow I can say relating to the written chapter only. So ठीक है. Now, if Mr. A making the supply through Amazon, try to understand this point. to Mr. B, and let's say it is goods. One restaurant is making the supply of the food through Zomato, Swiggy to Mr. B. Here I am taking the example, Mr. A is a shopkeeper making the supply of the goods through Amazon to Mr. B. Now tell me, in this case, which return will be filed by Mr. A? In this case, which return will be filed by Mr. A? Second question, in this case, which return will be filed by Amazon? It is normal regular return. Absolutely correct. It will be normal regular return, that is GSTR1 and GSTR3B. And annual return, if applicable, it will be 9 also. Which return will be filed by Amazon? In this example, will the TCS be applicable? In this example, will the TCS be applicable? In this example, will the TCS be applicable? Please add. Okay, fine. You all have given the correct answer. TCS would be applicable. In first example, we are talking about. In example number 1 only we are talking about. And which return will be filed? GSTR 8 and GSTR 9B. Please write not yet notified. Always write in the exam not yet notified. Meaning thereby, as per the law, 9B is there, form number is there, but this form number is not yet made notified. So practically not filing 9B. If e-commerce operator Amazon, they are not filing the GSTR 9B because it is not yet notified. Fine. Now, second example. In this case, whether TCS would be applicable. Whether TCS would be applicable. Will the Zomato collect the TCS on this transaction? Will the TCS be applicable in Zomato example? Will the TCS be applicable in the Zomato example? The answer is no. TCS will not be applicable because it is covered in the 9 subsection 5. Which return will be filed by Zomato? Which return will be filed by Zomato? Which return will be filed by Zomato? It is not RCM, beta. It is not RCM. It is not RCM. Please note that it is not RCM. Please confirm that which return will be filed by the Zomato. Which return will be filed by the Zomato? But GSTR 8 is applicable only when the TCS is there, correct? In this example, you have confirmed that no TCS. Still, the Zomato will file the GSTR 8. Mohammed, Zomato has to pay the tax in this case. Do you all agree with this? Do you all agree with this? Because of the 9.5, Zomato has to pay the tax on this transaction. क्या आप सभी लोग एग्री कर रहे हैं कि इस केस में जोमेटो का टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज ऑफ 9.5? Is it clear or any doubt? Or you want me to discuss the 9.5 model, business model in detail? Or you want me to discuss this 9.5? Okay, fine. Let me explain. No problem. No problem, beta. No problem. Let me discuss. Let me discuss this point. My question was very simple. My question was very simple, that if restaurant is making the supply through Zomato to Mr. B, will the TCS be applicable? You all have given the answer no. Next question, which return will be filed by Zomato? So I am explaining the concept of 9.5. 9 subsection 5 is notified by the government on some of the services. It can only be the services. Tax will be paid by the ECO. It is only for services which is made supplied through ECO. In this case, government is saying that such supplier will not pay the tax. You being a mediator, e-commerce operator, you being a mediator, e-commerce operator will pay the tax instead of the supplier. The example, I'm just giving the certain brand name so you can easily correlate. Transportation of passenger by radio taxi, maxi cab, motorcycle. Then they are saying hotel accommodation, small carpenting, plumbing services, then restaurant, Zomato, Swiggy. In all such kind of the transaction, the driver will not pay the tax. The hotel will not pay the tax. Carpenter will not pay the tax. Restaurant will not pay the tax, even if they are registered. There are some conditions are there in these two cases. In these two cases, if the supplier is registered, then the liability would not be there on this MMT urban clap. Only in these two cases, there is an exception, or there is one amendment that if the supplier is the limited company, then 9.5 is not applicable. Private limited or limited. If it is a company, then it is not applicable. Can 9.5 be applicable for goods? Just confirm in the chat. Can 9.5 be applicable on the goods? Please confirm in the chat. The answer is no. Can 9.5 is applicable on all services supplied through ECU? Yeah, only notified services. Will the 9.5 be applicable on all services supplied through ECU or only notified services? Answer is only notified. Which all categories has been notified in this case? Only 4 categories. Transportation of passenger, hotel accommodation, small carpenting, plumbing services, and last is restaurant. Transportation, they have excluded company in this case. There was an amendment, so company has been excluded in this case. So like restaurant, if restaurant is registered, then also the tax will not be paid by the restaurant. The tax will be paid by always ECU. Same, if that driver is registered in the GST, then also the tax will be paid by the Ola Uber, not by the driver. Is it clear? Who will pay the tax? In this case, ECU will pay the tax. In these two cases, there was an exception that they would be liable only if supplier is unregistered. If supplier has taken the registration, then the liability would be not upon the hotel accommodation and small carpenting plumbing. Fine. Again, I'm drawing this question. Restaurant is supplying through Zomato. In this case, who will pay the tax to the government? एक बार कंफर्म करो, who will pay the tax to the government? The Zomato will pay the tax to the government even if the restaurant is registered or unregistered, doesn't matter. In this case, the status of the restaurant is not material if restaurant is registered or not registered, but making the supply through Zomato, always the tax will be paid. Always the tax will be paid by the Zomato. Which return will be filed? It will file all regular return only, the GSTR 1 and 3B. Zomato will file the 1 and 3B. Answer is yes. He will file 1 and 3B. So there is a separate table which was made in the GSTR1, table 15, and the separate table which was inserted in the GSTR3B. If you are having the practical exposure, then you might easily correlate. Yes, if you have seen the GSTR3B at all, then you will correlate this table. नहीं तो आप देख सकते हैं, but my point is Zomato will file the 1(3)B and there is a specific table which is being made for this purpose. Is it clear? Asta, if e-commerce supplies on goods like digital product, then also the e-commerce operator will file the GST, right? नहीं, अभी आता हूँ, आपके पॉइंट पे भी आता हूँ बेटा. Just allow me 1-2 minutes. In this case, the 1(3)B would be filed by the Zomato. If restaurant is registered, my question is, if restaurant is registered, making supply only through Zomato, will he file the return? अगर रेस्टोरेंट रजिस्टर्ड है और सारी सप्लाई जोमेटो के थ्रू पे कर रहा है, जोमेटो के थ्रू कर रहा है, एंड ऑन विच जोमेटो इज पेइंग द टैक्स, whether restaurant is required to file the return or not. हाँ सोमेश, जोमेटो लिमिटेड कंपनी, सो व्हाट यू वुड लाइक टू से? सोमेश क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप? Answer is, अगर registered है, then they have to file the return. Answer is yes, he will file the return. And is it a nil return? No. Is it a nil return? No. Again, there is a separate table. Table 14B has been made for supplier to report 95 transaction. So again, the tax liability would be nil. I'm not saying that restaurant will pay the tax. No, the tax will always be paid by the Zomato, but he has to report this transaction in the table 14B of GSTR1, and similarly in the GSTR3B there is a separate table, that is 3.1.1 serial number 2. One for the Swiggy and one for the 95 ECU and 2 for the supplier. Is this clear? Till now it is clear. I'm coming, Somesh, to your point. Is this clear? Everyone is clear? यहाँ तक सभी लोग clear है? Somesh, I have taken the example of restaurant. Do you agree with this? I have taken the example of restaurant. Do you agree with this? And exception of the कंपनी, एक्सेप्शन ऑफ द कंपनी। आस्था, मैंने आपको प्रैक्टिकली बताया, आपके लिए वैसे रिलेवेंट नहीं है, बट यू टोल्ड मी टू एक्सप्लेन द कॉन्सेप्ट, तो मैंने थोड़ा सा आपको ज्यादा बताया है, सो दैट इट शुड बी क्लियर फ्रॉम ऑल एंगल। अगेन, इट इज नॉट इन द पार्ट ऑफ योर सिलेबस, इट इज लिमिटेड टू 9-5, बट इफ आई हैव टू एक्सप्लेन आपको अच्छे से समझाने के लिए, तो मैंने आपको पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट बता दिया। इज दैट ओके? थोड़ा ज्यादा बताया, इज दैट ओके? Just for your understanding and clarity purpose. Now, Somesh, the exception is not in the restaurant services, exception is in the transportation services. Transportation through omnibus, then if it is a limited company or private limited company, then there is no 9-5. But I have taken the example of restaurant, there is no exception. Is it okay? So Astha has asked one more question. In this case, 75 see, that is again concept. So you please read 9-5 provision in detail, 9-5 provision in detail, and wherein there is an exception of specified premises. When Pooja, you are absolutely correct. There is an exception of the specified premises. You all can read that provision. You will be able to understand. Last question, Astha is asking, e-commerce operator supplying its own goods like digital product. So for example, please confirm, is it correct example? I am Amazon and I am making the manufacturing of my own shirt, which I have displayed on my website and making the sale. Is it clear? Is it the correct example? In this case, to this extent, the GSTR rate is not applicable. To this extent, GSTR rate will not be applicable. I, being an Amazon, I have the regular registration also. I have the TCS registration also. So if I am making the supply of my own goods from my own website, it will not be applicable. I will file my GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B and I will pay the tax like a forward charge mechanism. For GSTR 8, whom's other supplier by using my platform making the supply, then only the TCS will be applicable and GSTR rate will be filed. Clear or any doubt? Nidhi, TYK2 not clear. So can you please confirm what you mean to say? TYK2 शायद मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं बेटा, एक बार कंफर्म कर दीजिए so that I can explain. No problem. Astha, please confirm so that I can move to the next. And everyone is clear? हम लोग थोड़े क्वेश्चन कर लेते हैं. Let me move to the some question of this returns में. Mr. Kohli is a registered person in the state of Gujarat. He is filing the GSTR1 for every month. During the month of Feb, he went out of India and thus could not do any business. He believed that as there is no transaction, there is no need to file R1. Is it correct or not correct? If it not correct, please confirm what do you mean to say. Oh, test your knowledge. Okay, question number 2. Okay, I will discuss. For which chapter, Nidhi? For which chapter? This written chapter you mean to say or TCS chapter? कौन से चैप्टर की बात कर रहे हैं? ठीक है बेटा, मैं एक बार ले लूंगा, बट एक बार क्विकली कंफर्म कर देते हैं क्वेश्चन. 86B जिसका आपने डाउट पूछा था, यू हैव आस्क्ड द डाउट, फॉर दैट यू मीन टू से, फॉर दैट यू मीन टू से जो डाउट आपने पूछा था, आपने कुछ क्वेश्चन नंबर का एग्जांपल कोट किया था, सो वो तो एप्लीकेबल ही है ना. यस, इट वुड बी एप्लीकेबल, it would be applicable. See that only the correction, I can say only the correction part is there. So you have to consider that correction. एक बार डबल चेक कर लीजिएगा इंस्टीट्यूट के साथ ओवर द ईमेल आप डबल चेक कर लीजिएगा. बट इन माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट इज एप्लीकेबल. Pooja is saying yes, he has to file nil return. So that no, he has to file nil return. Yes, return to be filed, nil return. Okay, fine. Nil return through SMS. There is an additional facility that I can file the nil return through SMS also. ठीक है, फाइन. व्हाट अबाउट सेकंड क्वेश्चन? ठीक है, कल्पेश इज ए रजिस्टर्ड डीलर इन केरला. एक सेकंड रुकिएगा. रजिस्टर्ड डीलर and composition scheme from 1st April. However, he opt to pay the tax under regular scheme from 1st December. Tell me, can he opt out in between of the financial year? Can he opt out in between of the financial year? Can he opt out in between of the financial year? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. From composition to regular, no problem. But regular to composition, is there any time limit? From regular to composition, is there any time limit? From regular to composition, is there any time limit? Before start of the financial year. Before start of the financial year. So last date is 31st March. Last date would be the 31st March. If you like to go for the composition, then there is a time limit. But if you like to go to the regular from composition, no time limit. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now, he's asking that from 1st April, he has opted composition, and from 1st December, he has converted from composition to regular. That question is whether he is liable to file GSTR 4, during which he has opted out from composition. Yes or no? If yes, then give me the answer. If no, then give me the answer. Answer is yes. It is applicable for the period for which he was. अगर मैं, if I am registered only, if I am registered under composition only for 1 day, then also I have to file GSTR 4. I have to file GSTR 4. If I am registered even for 1 day under composition, I have to file GSTR 4. Correct? Any doubt? Fine. So, third question, A is a chartered accountant in practice. A is a chartered accountant in practice and registered in the GST. On a query regarding the return filing process by a potential client, A has represented him as practitioner. A is of the view that since he is a qualified CA, with GST registration in the name of the proprietorship, he also qualify as GST. Understanding correct? Discuss. You all know probably. Please confirm. This question, how weightage mark? For weightage, I do not have too much idea. For weightage, I do not have too much idea. You have to just comparative study. I do not have too much idea about the weightage, and frankly, uh, so point is, understanding is correct or not correct? The answer is not correct because he has to go through the enrollment process of GST practitioner. So let me explain you one point. Let me explain you one point practically. A website of the GST. Here you will go to the registration. Here you will click on the register, and once you click on the register, then you have to select for which category you like to go. I am a GST practitioner, so accordingly you have to select user, matlab whatever the state is there, and you have to take separate enrollment for the GST practitioner. PCT 0102, they will issue the 0. You will file that is PCT 01, something like that, correct? So if you are a chartered accountant, then also you have to follow the process of GST practitioner. List of the qualification include the chartered accountant who is doing the practice. For the GST practitioner, for list of the qualification or eligible person, include the professional degree of the CA with COP. Fine. He has to register. No, CA with COP. CA with COP. Correct. So fine. Let me move again. Next question is quick tax GST return filing service provider. He asked the client to provide the scanned copy of the tax invoice issued to B2B customer for uploading on the portal and filing the return. Whether the process followed by the quick tax is correct? Do we need to upload the invoices? Do we need to upload the invoices in the GST returns? Do I need to upload the scanned copy of the GST return? While filing the GST return, do I need to upload the scanned copy of the tax invoice? No. Scanned copy of the tax invoice is not required, but yes, I have to upload the detailed information: invoice number, invoice date, taxable value, tax amount, invoice value, place of the supply, etc. These details are to be reported in the R1, but it is not required. To upload the scanned copy of the tax invoice. Okay. Details are to be provided. Absolutely correct, Mohammad Farhan. I am only saying that not required to upload the tax invoice का scan copy. ठीक है. One more question. That X Limited, a normal taxpayer, is winding up its business in Rajasthan. The tax consultant of X Limited has suggested that X Limited will have to file either the annual return or final return at the time of the voluntary cancellation in the state of Rajasthan. What is your view? Normal taxpayer is closing the business. The tax consultant has suggested that X Limited have to file either the annual return or final return at the time of voluntarily cancellation of the registration. What is your view? So, do you agree with this? Okay. So, it means either annual return or final return, not both. Not both, is it? What do you say? Both the returns required to be furnished, also file every final return also. Okay. Final return to be filed and annual return also. Okay. Both is required to be mandatory. Answer is the GSTR 9 would be filed annually, even if you are registered for 1 day and your turnover exceeds the threshold limit. Okay. But the GSTR 10 would be applicable if the return registration is cancelled, then within 3 months it is mandatory to file. It means the annual return is applicable as well as the annual return is applicable as well as the final return is applicable also if the number is cancelled. So fine. So I think you have asked one question that GST. So I think who has asked a question? There are two queries. Let me solve that query and then we will move to the some fire round of the question which is being given in the study material. I think who has asked this question number 2? Who has asked this question number 2? Is e-commerce operator required to collect the tax on behalf of actual supplier? Who has asked this question? एक बार just confirm कीजिएगा. Just please confirm. Okay, Nidhi, the question is whether e-commerce operator required to collect the TCS or not. Required to collect the tax means they are talking about TCS. Clear? You all tell me the situation when, see, one example I've discussed that if, let's say, Mr. A is making the supply by using my platform to you. A is me using my, I am Amazon. Assume that I'm Amazon. So A is using my platforms to deliver the goods to you, and you are making the payment to me, and I am giving in turn the payment to the supplier. In this case, TCS would be applicable. This part is clear. I have to add some more, but whether this part is clear, to this extent it is clear. Now I'm asking the question to all. I'm asking the question to all. Tell me the situation when the supply has been made through e-commerce operator, but TCS will not be applicable. Can you tell me the situations when the supply which is made through ECO, but there is no requirement of collection of TCS? There could be the multiple combination. I can say, you can think and then tell me. There could be the multiple combination. First is 9.5. Is it clear? Because we have also discussed the example कि 9.5 and section 52 are mutually exclusive. 9.5 and 52 are mutually exclusive. So therefore, if the 9.5 is applicable, 52 is not applicable. पहला वाला point clear है? Everyone? पूजा आपने TDS का example दिया, TCS का नहीं है. This exception is in the TDS, not in the TCS. निधि, ये वाला पॉइंट जो मैं एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं ना, उसमें क्या है कि अगर मैं ई कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर जो हूं वो 95 में कवर हो गया, लेट्स से मैं कौन हूं, जोमेटो, मैं कौन हूं, ओला, उबर, इन दैट केस जब 95 एप्लीकेबल होता है तो 52 टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल नहीं होता। इज दिस क्लियर? बहुत बढ़िया तनु बेटा, बहुत बढ़िया। सेकंड एक्सेप्शन, अगर ई कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर खुद का प्रोडक्ट, इफ ई कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर इज मेकिंग द सप्लाई ऑफ इट्स ओन गुड्स थ्रू इट्स ओन वेबसाइट। मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था ना, सो आई थिंक वन ऑफ द पार्टिसिपेंट हैज आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन, अगर अमेजन अपने ही गुड्स के सप्लाई करता है इट्स ओन प्लेटफॉर्म, इन दैट केस टीसीएस विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल। करेक्ट? अगर अमेजन खुद के गुड्स की सप्लाई अपने प्लेटफॉर्म से करता है तो ये टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा। सेकंड एग्जांपल। थर्ड, सप्लाई अगर एग्जेम्प्टेड है तो एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा। यू कैन ऐड वन मोर सिनेरियो, यू कैन ऐड वन मोर सिनेरियो। assume that if, see, supplier is A, I am e-commerce operator and I am delivering the things to Mr. B, and let's say if B is making payment directly to the supplier, if B is making the payment directly to the supplier, not routing the payment through me, then also TCS will not be applicable. I'm adding one more scenario which is not there in the answer, but I'm adding one more scenario. If you read the provision, you will find out. Agar, let's say, you can take the example of OLX. To some extent, one example could be the OLX. Whether OLX is e-commerce operator, whether OLX is e-commerce operator, yes. Whether supplier is using the platform to sell the goods, whether supplier is using the platforms of the OLX to make the sale of the goods. Yes. Tell me whether customer will make the payment to OLX and then OLX will make the payment to supplier, or customer will directly make the payment to supplier, or customer will directly make the payment to the supplier. Tell me. क्या कस्टमर OLX को देगा और OLX सप्लायर को देगा, या कस्टमर डायरेक्टली पे कर देगा? Directly to the supplier. In this case, whether OLX is getting the amount from customer? No. If amount is not coming, then how OLX will collect the TCS? Answer is no. अगर money मेरे पास नहीं आ रही है from customer, I cannot cut the TCS part. I cannot collect the TCS part and remit the balance amount. In this case, TCS is also not applicable. In this case, TCS is also not applicable. And last, RCM transaction. Last RCM transaction. ठीक है? Is that clear? निधि, आपको क्लियर हुआ ये वाला पॉइंट? एंड नाउ वन, आई थिंक आज तो आपने पूछा था एक सर्कुलर, मैं अभी रीड कर लेते पूरा सर्कुलर सो दैट विल हैव द क्लैरिटी। ठीक है, मैं एक बार ओपन करता हूं सर्कुलर। ये स्टैट्यूटरी अपडेट्स है, स्टैट्यूटरी अपडेट्स आईटीसी। यू आर आस्किंग दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट, एम आई राइट? यू आर आस्किंग एक्स वर्क कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस सिनेरियो एंड देन हैव द मोर क्लैरिटी। ठीक है, now let me move to the निधि, एक बार मुझे ये मूव करने दीजिए। you just read, I hope it will be clear, and but एक बार मैं ये रीड कर लेता हूँ पहले, and then we'll move to the if time permit then definitely I will discuss clarification on availability of the ITC on the 16(2)(b). What is that 16(2)(b)? That goods or services should be received. ठीक है, in respect of the goods which has been delivered by the supplier at his place of business under X work contract. Fine. Let's read the clarification. In the automobile sector, the contract between the automobile dealers and the OEM. Automobile sector, the contract between the automobile dealer and the original equipment manufacturer is generally an X work contract. And as per the terms of the contract, the property in the goods pass to the dealer at the factory gate of the OEM. When the goods are handed over to the transporter at the instance of the dealer, and the delivery on the part of the OEM is complete at the factory gate. Okay. The transporter may be arranged by the OEM on behalf of the dealer, and where insurance is arranged, it may be done on behalf of the dealer. Any claim in case of the loss has to be lodged by the dealer who is doing the insurance. The transportation can be arranged by the OEM on behalf of the dealer, and it may also be done on behalf of the dealer. Any claim in case of the loss will be lodged by the dealer. इसका मतलब गुड्स की ऑनरशिप किसकी है. दिस इज ऑल्सो प्लेइंग एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल कि इंश्योरेंस किसके नाम से हुआ है. इट इज बाय द डीलर. ठीक है. इश्यू which arose for the consideration was whether ITC can be availed by the dealer only after the physically received by the automobile dealer at his business premises, or ITC can be availed on the date the vehicle are billed to him and handed over to the transporter for the OEM at his factory gate. What is the clarification? In this scenario, the property in the said goods can be considered to have been passed on to the dealer by the OEM upon handing over of the goods to the transporter at the factory gate. Meaning thereby, the goods can be considered to have been delivered to the registered person through the transporter by the supplier at the factory gate of the OEM. And the supply can be considered to have been at the factory gate, and even though the goods were physically received by the registered person, even after some time. So ITC can be taken by the dealer when OEM hand over the goods to the transporter at the factory gate. Now let me add the point for your better clarity. In all such scenarios, in normal scenario, you please not use this concept. You not, because unless and until all the information has been given in the question. Suppose there could be the FOB contract, there could be the CIF contract. You heard this name, right? You heard this name, CIF, FOB. हाँ, ये statutory update है बेटा. Have you heard this name, FOB and CIF? Free on board, cost insurance rate. Sometimes the supplier is required to deliver the goods at your factory gate. Sometimes there's an ex work contract. You have to come and take the delivery of the goods. Plus the time at which the title ownership on the goods has been transferred to you. So I would suggest, beta, there is a clarification, no doubt, but please do not apply the concept at all places. Point number one, because you have to take the assumption that assume that goods has been title has been transferred on the at the time of handing over of the goods. So unless and until Astha, question is very, very specific by having the similar fact, then you should add the ITC can be taken. You will be able to understand from the language of the question itself. Otherwise, in the normal scenario, you please not apply this concept because you are not sure whether the title ownership has been transferred on the factory gate or it will be transferred when the goods will be reached to the premises of the customer. So this is my view. If the transporter supplies in lot, but supplier deliver in whole on X work. See, again I would say This is a clarification, correct? And clarification, will the clarification be applicable in all the scenario or to the respective scenario? Only in this scenario. Only in this scenario. Okay. So if the question comes and talking about the lot, then answer would be, prima facie answer would be on the last lot, because the question would be there. The provision is there. But if you are mixing these both, goods are coming in the lot and this is X factory, I can say when the goods are being handed over, obviously the title is being transferred, then he would be able to take ITC. But one thing is very, very clear. The question will not be made in this manner in which they are contradicting one circular and one provision of the law. It will not be made like that. And also in the practical life also, it is not happening in this manner. Just for academic purpose, you are asking, no problem. Your point is clear. Your doubt is very, very right. There could be the combination of the two. Then at the time of handing over of the goods, obviously ITC would be available to the recipient as clarified by the circular 241. But yes, from exam point of view and from practically life point of view, practical scenario point of view, this combination is normally not easily available. It is a very, very rare scenario, but for academic point, I have given my view. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So you have asked one more question. Question number 3. Question number 3 kya? 1 second. Returns. This is question number 3. You are asking the question number. I like to do the 5 round the question answer of at least return part, GST return. Okay. Section 5th. Let's read. State whether the provision pertaining to the TCS will be applicable. That we have discussed now. The same question I have taken. Answer is not applicable. Directly to supplier. Nidhi, are you there? If are you there, then please confirm. ये वाला question हम already discuss कर चुके हैं. In this case, if the goods are sent on approval basis, then what will happen? तो पूजा, you mean to say कि इसी situation में अगर मैं add कर देता हूँ ये 31 subsection 7 goods sent on approval basis in the circular you are talking about. In the circular you are talking about, right? फिर तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं ना. सर्कुलर इज सेइंग दैट एट द टाइम ऑफ एक्स वर्क, एक्स फैक्ट्री, द टाइटल इज बीइंग ट्रांसफर्ड. अगर मैंने ओनरशिप ट्रांसफर कर दी तो वो सप्लाई बन गया, राइट? इट बिकम द सप्लाई. बट इफ यू आर सेइंग इट इज सेल्स ऑन अप्रूवल, देन वो गुड्स उसके पास पहुंचेगा, देन ही विल एक्सेप्ट दैट गुड्स बायर, and if it is accepted to him, then he will issue the tax invoice. Then obviously, even if the goods are being received, he will not be able to take ITC because there is no tax invoice. Sales on approval, the time limit is 6 months. He can make the tax invoice within 6 months or once he accepted the goods, whichever is earlier. तो अगर ये मेरा एग्जाम्पल सेल्स ऑन अप्रूवल है, तो मैं टाइटल जो ट्रांसफर करूंगा अपने बायर को, इट विल नॉट बी एट द फैक्ट्री गेट. Fine. Is it okay? Okay. Let me move to the quick round of the question answer on GST return part. Returns part का एक बार मुझे डिस्कशन करना है आप लोगों के साथ में. It's important because returns we have not discussed a lot of question. Some of the question I have discussed, but I feel that we can have the 5 round of the question on the GST return chapter. IFF क्या होता है? What is the IFF? Can anybody tell me what is the IFF? Fine. No answer. Let me read the question. What is the due date for payment of tax by the composition dealer for a particular quarter? What is the due date for payment of tax by the composition dealer for a particular quarter? Thirteenth? Is it correct? What is the due date for payment of tax? What is the due date for payment of tax? Is it 13? Correct. It is 25th after the end of the quarter or 18th after the end of the quarter. Tell me. Now the doubt is it 25th or is it 18? Is it 25th or is it 18? Okay. What is 25th then? What is 25th then? Can anybody tell me what is 25th then? Very nice, beta. Very nice. 25th is for QRMP taxpayer. 25th is for QRMP taxpayer. 25th is for the QRMP taxpayer, not for M1 and M1 and M2. Not for composition dealer. ठीक है. Whether composition dealer is required to file the monthly return or quarterly return or yearly return. What is the frequency of that return? You all know, we have discussed. The return would be applicable on monthly, quarterly, yearly. Answer is he has to pay the tax on quarterly, but the GST return would be only on yearly, that is GSTR4. Who's the person who own, operate or manage digital or electronic facility or platform for e-commerce? E-commerce operator. Very nice. Simple question. Whether form GSTR1 furnish the details of inward supply or outward supply? Answer is outward supply. Whether GSTR2B is a real-time statement or a static statement? The answer is static statement. If you are saying that it is a static statement, can you tell me what is the real-time statement? What is the name of the real-time statement? What is the form number? It is GSTR2A. It is GSTR2A. Okay, whether GSTR2 is a real-time, okay, I have discussed. Under IFF, what is the cumulative value of the invoice in each of the first 2 months of the quarter beyond which cannot be submitted? अच्छा, static means fix हो गया. जैसे as of now, on particular date, that is 14th, once the GSTR2B would be generated, corresponding to the supplier जिन्होंने GSTR1 फाइल किया, वो फिक्स हो गया. उसके बाद में आपके जिसने डी लेट फाइल किया GSTR1, उसके ट्रांजेक्शन ऐड नहीं होंगे. बट 2A में क्या है, अगर सप्लाई ड्यू डेट तक फाइल करता है GSTR1, तब भी रिसिपिएंट बायर के 2A में आ जाएगा. अगर वो 12th को फाइल करता है तब भी बायर के 2A में आ जाएगा. लेट्स से 15th को फाइल करता है, देन आल्सो इट विल कम इन 2A. बट 2B will take the data which has been added by the supplier and furnished by the supplier till the due date of the GSTR1 or IFF. नहीं, टोटल आस्था, इट इज टोटल, नॉट पर इनवॉइस या पर कस्टमर, नहीं, टोटलिटी. It will not accept more than 50 lakhs in totality. How many 3B are to be submitted in a year by QRMP taxpayer? Very simple question. Very simple question, right? Fine. What is the due date of filing the return for the month in which tax is to be deducted at source by TDS deductor? Yeah. Due date of the GSTR 7. Correct. 10th of next month. 10th of next month. Which returns are to be furnished by the registered person? Which returns is to be furnished by the registered person required to furnish the return under 39(1) and whose registration has been surrendered or cancelled? So I hope it is clear. If the registration is cancelled, then the GSTR 10, that is final return, has to be furnished. GSTR 10 has to be furnished if the registration is cancelled. Okay. So by this we have completed the discussion. I have tried, I think, is there any question? You please ask. In e-way bill, only supply of the goods by road case we have to in physical or RFID embedded. You mean to say e-way bill का copy मुझे कैप्ट करना है फिजिकल फॉर्म में? we have to have COPT. एक और बेटा वापस बताएंगे COPT मतलब कॉपी. ओके ओके ओके. हाँ, ई-वे बिल ओनली सप्लाई द गुड्स बाय रोड केस. आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कीजिए. आशा बेटा, आपने अपने आप को अनम्यूट कीजिए, देन स्पीक. यू जस्ट स्पीक, अनम्यूट एंड योरसेल्फ एंड देन स्पीक.
सर ई-वे बिल में एक लिखा हुआ था कि कॉपी ऑफ द ई-वे बिल इन फिजिकल फॉर्म और इन ई-वे बिल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म और मैप्ड टू अ आरएफआईडी एम्बेडेड एक्सेप्ट इन केस ऑफ मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स बाय रेल और बाय एयर और वेसल. सर जो आरएफआईडी एम्बेडेड है उसी के ऊपर ही एक्सेप्शन है या फिर ई-वे बिल इन फिजिकल और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म भी हमें तभी कैरी करनी है अगर हम गुड्स बाय रोड करते हैं तो?
नहीं, गुड्स बाय, ये आपने प्रोविजन कहां डिस्कस किया? लेट मी ओपन सो दैट इट विल बी क्लियर टू ऑल.
सर पेज नंबर 12.22.
चैप्टर पेज नंबर
12.22.
एक सेकंड बेटा. So point this one, let me share the screen. You are talking about this point? I think yes. Confirm करना एक बार बेटा.
Yes sir, 14th B part.
ठीक है. So rule 138 capital A says that person in charge of the conveyance means driver shall carry the invoice, bill of supply और the delivery चालान. तो एक पहला बेस डॉक्यूमेंट हो गया. दूसरा फिजिकल फॉर्म्स में ई-वे बिल का कॉपी और द ई-वे बिल नंबर इन द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म्स या मैप टू द RFID डिवाइस embedded on the conveyance except in case of movement of the goods by rail, by air or by vessel in such case as may be notified by the commissioner. अब डाउट आपका ये आया, ये जो एक्सेप्शन है, ये एक्सेप्शन जो है दैट विल बी एप्लीकेबल, मतलब ये जो कॉपी ऑफ द ई-वे बिल का है ये सभी केस में ले जाना है, सिर्फ खाली रोड के थ्रू अगर मूवमेंट हो रहा है तभी ले जाना है? इज इट योर क्वेश्चन?
सर ये जो एक्सेप्शन है सिर्फ आरएफआईडी एम्बेडेड के लिए है
नहीं
या
नहीं,
फिर
सभी के लिए,
फॉर्म
सभी के
में
लिए,
भी?
सभी के
सभी।
लिए, सभी के लिए। और इसका बेस क्या है? नाउ गो टू द रूल 138, गो टू द रूल 138, आप इसको पढ़िए। एक सेकंड, एक बार हम 138 में जाते हैं, ऊपर जाते हैं, एंड देन यू विल फाइंड द रीजन। सब रूल 2 है, सब रूल 3 है। नाउ दिस इज द रीजन। व्हेन द गुड्स आर ट्रांसपोर्टेड बाय रेल, बाय एयर और बाय वेसल, the e-way shall be generated by the registered person being the supplier or recipient, who shall either before or after। इन केस में अगर मैं रेलवे के थ्रू ट्रांसपोर्ट करता हूं या एयर के थ्रू ट्रांसपोर्ट करता हूं, वेसल के थ्रू ट्रांसपोर्ट करता हूं, तो रूल 138(2)(a is giving the permission to generate the e-way bill even after the movement, and therefore that particular point they have given the exception to this।
ओके सर। सर इन एचएम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इंटरेस्ट के ऊपर जो टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई है वो लास्ट में जो हम करते थे प्रोविजन उसके अकॉर्डिंग होगी?
एचएम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के ऊपर
सर एचएम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में लिखा हुआ कि इंटरेस्ट शैल आल्सो बी इंक्लूडेबल इन द टैक्सेबल वैल्यू। सो सर अगर हम जो मिक्स सप्लाई वाला कॉन्सेप्ट है अगर हम वो लगाते हैं कंपोजिट सप्लाई इस केस में, तो टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फिर अकॉर्डिंग टू द मेजर टैक्सेबल वैल्यू होगा या फिर इंटरेस्ट का अलग से टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई देखेंगे?
मेरे हिसाब से मेजर होगा, बट मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा एक बार वो सर्कुलर आप देख लेना। यू विल रीड द सर्कुलर जो एचएम के रिगार्ड में स्पेसिफिकली इश्यू किया सीबीआईसी ने, एंड देन फाइंड आउट योर आंसर। और अगर कभी कोई क्लास हुई हमारा डिस्कशन, देन वी विल डू द डिस्कशन दैट बाय कीप गिविंग द सर्कुलर, जैसे अभी हमने एक सर्कुलर डिस्कस किया था। ठीक है,
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू। सो एनी अदर पॉइंट, इफ एनीबडी लाइक टू आस्क, अनम्यूट एंड देन आस्क प्लीज। Anyone would like to ask? निधि ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था, राइट? निधि, यू आस्क वन क्वेश्चन। पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स में एक आपने पूछा था, मेरे को याद नहीं, क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 शायद। यू हैव आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन नंबर 7। लेट मी वी हैव सी द क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 बेटा, राइट?
जी सर।
बेटा पेज नंबर क्विकली बता पाओगे?
यस सर।
Just tell me the page number so that I can open in front of all, and then everyone will be able to see.
13.42
42। ठीक है।
Sahil is the supplier of taxable goods in Karnataka.
ठीक है बेटा, जस्ट एक मिनट। Question: supplier is the Sahil is the supplier of the taxable goods in Karnataka. He got registered in GST in the month of September and wishes to pay IGST liability for the month. Since he is making the GST payment for the first time, he is of the view that he need to mandatory have the online banking facility to make the payment of GST. Offline payment is not permitted. You are required to price Sahil regarding the various mode of the deposit in the cash ledger. तो theoretical है ना, पूरा theoretical है. Just read the solution. Whether the validity period, who is the cross-utilization major and minor head of the cash is permitted. ये वाला part तो हमने discuss कर लिया था ना बेटा. This particular part we have already discussed, right? So whatever the mode available, that you can मतलब see the provision and read. Like it can be through internet banking, it can be through IMPS, it can be through credit card, debit card, NEFT, और 10,000 तक cash allowed है बैंक में जाके. ठीक है. All mode you should write, and validity period is 15 days. और क्रॉस यूटिलाइजेशन PMT 9 के माध्यम से मैं मेजर हेड या माइनर हेड से अनदर मेजर हेड या माइनर हेड में कर सकता हूं. एंड प्लीज ऑल्सो एट द पॉइंट दैट यू कैन डू द ट्रांसफर ऑफ द कैश विद इन द बैंक among different GST number also. This is my point. Is that okay? ठीक है. हाँ पूजा बेटा.
Thank you, sir.
हाँ ऑफलाइन है, मतलब 10,000 तक ऑफलाइन कर सकते हैं, करेक्ट। अप टू 10,000 वी कैन डू द ऑफलाइन। मतलब वो चालान तो ऑनलाइन बनाना पड़ेगा, बट हाँ उसको बैंक में ले जाके एक्सेप्ट करवा सकते हैं, विल सबमिट। हाँ पूजा, क्विकली वुड यू लाइक टू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन? अनम्यूट एंड देन आस्क। नॉट एबल टू हियर
Sir,
हाँ,
good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग बेटा।
I want to ask about it's CA qualify for practice GST practitioner, sir.
कंप्लीट सीए या सीए इंटर?
Sir, complete CA.
हाँ हाँ कंप्लीट सीए तो 100% कर सकता है, क्या दिक्कत है?
और CA इंटर, sir?
सीए इंटर में ना आपको क्वालिफिकेशन रीड करनी पड़ेगी, लाइक बीकॉम का डिग्री है और सम प्रैक्टिस है, देयर आर वेरियस क्वालिफिकेशन। अगर आप वो रूल देखेंगे ना, जस्ट रीड द रूल, क्वालिफिकेशन उसके अकॉर्डिंग फिर पीसीटी आप अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा। यू हैव टू अप्लाई एंड देन ऑफिसर विल गिव द डेट एंड यू विल प्रेजेंट along with your examination, along with your certificate, then you are permitted.
Sir, in module CA is not given, but CA inter, BCom, all these are available, sir. But
ऐसा
CA
नहीं
is
होगा।
not available in this.
नहीं 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 होगा, 100% होगा बेटा।
So I am
अच्छा,
confused, sir.
नहीं नहीं है। एक बात बताओ ना बेटा, सीए जो बन गया है वो इंटर तो पास करेगा तभी तो सीए बनेगा।
Yes, sir.
करेक्ट, बट हाँ रूल में है, जस्ट टेल मी द पेज नंबर, आई विल अरेंज द चेकिंग एंड इफ रिक्वायर्ड आई विल डिस्कस। अगर अभी आपको पेज नंबर याद है तो मुझे बता दीजिए, आई विल सी एट अ लेटर स्टेज।
Sir, एक second.
नो प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
No, sir.
सो थैंक यू सो
Because
मच।
sir, we have read some questions in which uh, in some question answer is CA will be qualified and in some question CA is not qualified. मतलब दो जगह ऐसे क्वेश्चन आए हुए थे सर, तो एक में उन्होंने लिखा था कि क्वालिफाई है, एक में लिखा हुआ था कि नहीं है, तो मैं इसी चीज में कंफ्यूज थी।
नहीं, पहला आंसर है बन सकता है, पहला क्लियर आंसर है बन सकता है, रूल में है। अब आप मुझे वो पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन नंबर बता दीजिए सो दैट आई कैन रीड एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली इफ रिक्वायर्ड तो मैं एक बार डिस्कस कर लूंगा इंस्टीट्यूट के साथ।
सर एक्चुअली क्वेश्चंस तो मैंने प्रीवियस ईयर्स के किए थे, अभी तो मेरे
तो
पास
आप है
नहीं।
ना फिर है ना, मतलब ईमेल आईडी भी है अपना इंस्टीट्यूट का, राइट? जीएसटी करके कोई है ना एक ईमेल आईडी बीओएस का, तो यू कैन मतलब पुट द सेम ओवर देयर।
ओके सर,
ठीक है ना?
अकॉर्डिंग टू यू ही कैन क्वालिफाई, राइट सर?
अकॉर्डिंग टू मी नहीं, अकॉर्डिंग टू द जीएसटी रूल्स।
ओके सर।
ठीक है बेटा, ओके, थैंक यू सो मच। एनी अदर पॉइंट एनीवन लाइक टू डिस्कस? सो आज मेरी लास्ट क्लास ही आई थिंक है ना, इट इज माय टुडे लास्ट क्लास ही है। देयर वाज द 3 क्लास व्हिच आई कंप्लीटेड, आई होप इट इज अप टू योर लेवल एंड अप टू योर एक्सपेक्टेशन, एंड मैंने कुछ हेल्प की होगी आपको शायद आपके नॉलेज इंप्रूव करने में या रिवीजन करने में। ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच, गुड बाय टू ऑल ऑफ यू एंड विल मीट इन सम अदर डे। सर कंप्लीट हो गई क्लास मेरी, ओवर सर।